Tadvaram Paryaya Vidmahe Jnanalingeshwaraya Dhimahi Tanno Guruhu Prachodayate Om Yogamashrakta Swami Geetananda Giri Guru Maharaj Ki Jai. Welcome back to our morning sessions, maybe evening or night for some of you, wherever you are. Thank you for joining. We have been looking at many concepts and practices, and today we'll take it a bit further. When we started with the 3 Omkars, the Pranava. Whenever we are using these sounds, the Bija sounds, single unit sounds, the Bija is a single unit, a seed. And just as the whole tree, what it's going to look like, what it's going to give, the number of fruits it potentially can give, the number of times the branches can branch out and the leaves can appear. All that potential lies within that seed. Similarly, with the Bija Mantras, the whole potential of what can be lies within the Bija Mantra, that single unit sound. And one of the most powerful single unit sounds is Om. Om. Yeah? Because in that Om lies the foundation of the A. It's the foundation. Oo, which is the expansion. A is foundation. It's the base, it's the foundation. Ooh, the expansion, like whenever you want to blow a balloon up, you go, ooh, expansion. And then comes that state of satiety, serenity, contentment. Did you have a nice piece of cake? Did you like it? Is a sound of satiety. So you have the foundation of the Ah, you have the expansion of the Ooh, and the satiety of the All 3 come together in the Om. And when we make the Om as a Bija, it actually becomes, it has a nasal twang. All the Bijas should have a nasal twang, otherwise it's like an inactive seed. Most people are running around making sounds that are nice, okay? They're nice, you feel good, but they're not the real thing. Because if the Bija sound is to manifest its potential, it needs a nasal twang. The nasal twang is the sound that comes when you close your nose and go, that it's not but I'm coming close so that, not so that I look weird on the camera, but just so that you can hear me better. This is you can hear that nasal twang. It's not say it's at one level. You take it to the next level when you go. You have to actually take your tongue against the palate a bit. So it's Om, 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 and the sound travels up. If you just do Om, it stops there. Stops there because it's satiety. But when you want it as an activatory Bija sound, Om, Om, it becomes an ONG type of sound. Om, and Om, it has to taper off. One of the best examples of how this works. Seriously, I had no idea I wanted to talk about this. I had some other plans. The best example of this is a bell. If you take a bell and you ring the bell, what happens is first you have a clanging sound, nga, clanging sound. There's a clang, and then there's a tapering, humming sound. So there's like a clang, clang. I'm very specifically using this. Clang, 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 clang. I hope you get this. The first sound has to be it's virtually a rough sound. It is a coarse sound. It's a gross sound. It's a coarse sound that is made when something clashes, clang. But then from that there's a tapering sound that manifests, clang. Same way with the bijas, om, om. When you're chanting all the bijas, lam, everybody's running around going lam, 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 lam. Nothing will happen with lam. The problem is you don't make lam, you make lung, and lam happens. See, it is like you have to do the gross for the subtle to manifest, and people are trying to manifest by doing the subtle. It doesn't happen that way. And this was the problem, because all these teachings were meant to be practiced, learned, practiced under the guidance of a master, not from a book. And everybody has a book and they think that because they have the book, they know it. Some people, they think they know everything because they have it on the computer. Having it on your computer is not the same as you knowing it. When you experience it, you know it, okay? So the sound has to be, that clanging sound has to occur. That is why with the bijas, lang, lang, with the nga, then educes within you the lam. You don't make the lam. By making the lam, you have gone no place. Because it's like you're never taken off the ground. You have to, see, the whole concept in yoga is you have to first do the effort and then you have to let go. Abhyasa has to precede vairagya. So abhyasa is doing the effort, vairagya is letting go. Now, before you let go, you have to first do something. It is like, the long jump runners. When you want to, if you have seen these in the Olympics and others, you'll enjoy it. The person runs towards this pit of sand. Nowadays they put other things, but pit of sand. And there's a board there. The person runs, stamps on the board, takes off and lands, and they measure it. And if you have landed the farthest away, you get the gold medal. What is the whole process? Run as fast as possible, hit the board and take off. Same thing. Abhyasa is the running towards the board with as much momentum as you can. You hit the board and then you take off and let go. Now, if you keep on running, you run into the sand pit, it becomes a foul. Okay, that attempt will not be counted. And if from where you are, you try to jump, you're not going to go far because there's not been any momentum. The momentum has to be there up to a certain point, and at the appropriate point, you let go and you fly. Same thing with high jump, same thing with anything. As I like to tell people, all accelerator and brake. You have to first give the accelerator, then you have to give the brake so that you modulate where you are going. If you only give accelerator, you end up going and hitting the wall. That's outside your house. And if you only give the brake, you never leave your house. So only accelerator is a problem, only brake is a problem. Brake followed by accelerator doesn't work the same as accelerator followed by brake. It has to be accelerator followed by brake, followed by accelerator, followed by brake, followed by accelerator. That is why abhyasa, vairagya, spanda, nishpanda, there has to be that balance. So the first component has to be the clang sound. And then comes, so it's a om, and then it tapers into a... Okay? Coming back to today's topic. Right. We have been looking at the Savitri, and when we do the Savitri, there is a very beautiful concept that it goes into, and that concept is what is called the Anuloma Viloma Kriya or Prakriya. And in the Gita tradition, there's a host of such practices. They belong to the Jnana Yoga, Raja Yoga Prakriyas. A Kriya is an action, a Prakriya is a higher, more subtle action. And these are primarily, most of them are visualizations, not for the sake of the visualization, but so that you start to experience it. So often when we are talking about it, we say, visualize the prana, visualize the apana. The actual word should be experience the flow of the prana, experience the flow of the apana. But because people don't know where they are, you use the word visualization. The danger with the word visualization is it sounds as if it is something that is not real, and you are just putting a label on it or pasting something over something else. So one has to be a little careful about that. The Jnana Yoga, Raja Yoga Prakriyas are practices that enable us to experience the pranic and apanic flows. So prana, apana. Here the concept of prana is as the positive flux of energy and apana as the negative flux of energy. So here you have equal and opposite energies with which you are working. And these equal and opposite energies go all the way down into our cells where we have anions, cations. They go all the way down into the atomic, subatomic level where we have electrons and protons. So this concept of a positive flux and a negative flux and an equal and opposite energies, diametrically opposite but equal energies, is fundamental to the Hatha Yoga, the Jnana Yoga and the Tantric traditions. It's all about energy. And that is why Ha-Ta. Ha is the positive flux, Ta is the negative flux. So you are balancing these. So when we are doing the Jnana Yoga, Raja Yoga, Kriyas and Prakriyas, what we are doing is that we are actually using our mind. That is why it's Jnana Yoga and Raja Yoga. Because you are becoming a master of yourself. You are becoming your own king, Raja. What we are doing is that we are becoming aware of these energies and how they are flowing through us. And the moment we become aware of these energies can manifest in abundance. Because again, going back to the common statement, Yato mana tata prana. Where the mind goes, the energy flows. So when you become aware of it, you are enabling that energy to manifest in its abundance. So whenever we are doing these practices, most of the time they are done from the lying down position. They can also be done from the seated position. And there is this concept of the prana coming from up, down, and the apana from down, up. Now, people who are not used to this get a bit confused because they are thinking of prana and apana as two of the 5 prana vayus, the energy flows, the major energy flows that enable physiological function to occur. And that prana is definitely in the heart region, centered in the heart region, and it enables the whole respiratory process to occur. It is the energy source of respiration. And apana is more centered at the anal region, and it is the energy that enables the physiological process of excretion to occur. So that is how the prana and apana is used in the Pancha Prana Vayu concept. But here it is being utilized as 2 equal and opposite energy flows. Now normally the prana has a tendency to go up and out. This is the tendency of prana. And apana has a tendency to go down and out. So up and out the prana, down and out the apana. This is how it normally goes on. In a common person, in a samanya manushya, someone who is just living an ordinary life. When the yogi comes into this, the yogi likes to do things differently. And Lord Krishna in the Bhagavad Gita makes a beautiful statement when he says, Ya nisha sarva bhutanam tasyam jagrati samyami yasyam jagrati bhutani sa nisha pashyato mune. That the yogi, the muni, is one who has such a perspective that is diametrically opposite to the common perspective. That which seems to be day to the common person is night to the yogi. That which seems to be night to the common person is day to the yogi. It's day, night, night, day. And I often think about this because I like to say that Krishna in the Bhagavad Gita, that's at least 5,000 years ago, okay? We have in the Indian calendar, what we use here, talks about 5,000 years plus about 5,200 years of Kali Yuga. And Kali Yuga, the first day of Mahabharata is said to be the Kali Yuga. Some people say the end of Mahabharata, but basically Mahabharata and Kali Yuga. And Mahabharata, in it has the Bhagavad Gita. So we are talking 5,000 years, okay? This is a traditional dating, not these dating done by these crazy guys who came with prejudices and couldn't understand how anything could be older than 2,000 years. And so everything had to be 2,000 years. Because you cannot be before the Bible, okay? This was such a preconceived notion with which these guys came in. And so everything had to be much, much later. They had a lot of issues because the world was created 7,000 years ago, according to their thought process. So how could anything be so old? Couldn't be old. So, they cut everything down. Coming back to it, I like to say Krishna knew about the time zones of the world. Because, when it is day in India, it is night in Northern America. And when it's, day in North America, it's night in India. So he knew that the Indian perspective and the North American perspectives were very different. He knew about the time zones. I like to joke about that. Well, that's a different one. But, recently, my dear Jnanadev in Wales sent me a statement. He said, what has happened is very, very, very funny. Very, very funny. He said, someone said, Krishna says what is day to the common person is night to the yogi. And so yoga has to be done at night. This was an interpretation of that statement. I'm like, oh my God. Where do these people sprout from? Where do they come from? It's astonishing. I love that. And yes, there's a very beautiful statement from Don Browning there. Day-night differential between you and me. It's a nice way, yes. Yeah, it is a diametrically opposite perspective because most of the time, if you are facing somebody, they are looking in the opposite direction to what you are looking. And that is why a conversation is always between people who are looking in two different directions. And that is where we have to find the middle path. And that middle path is where the balance occurs. The answer doesn't lie in my perspective or your perspective. It lies in our perspective. And that is why the perspective has to be one that goes beyond you and me, goes beyond duality into a non-dual state. Beautiful concepts. And these are concepts not just to be memorized and discussed, but to be lived. Coming back. Prana, apana. So the pranic flow is visualized. Initially you visualize it. The idea is to experience it, but because you don't know what you are looking for, you need to be told. It's like, you go into a room and you have no idea that what a clock looks like. Someone has to describe it to you. In that room, there will be a round structure with two hands, and there's a big hand and a small hand, and they'll be moving in circles. And most probably there'll be 12 numbers, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, around the edge. And if you see that, that is a clock. And you can use it to tell time. Now, if somebody has told you that and you look at it, you know it is a clock. If you don't know what a clock looks like, if you don't know what a clock is, and you go in that room, most probably you may not even see it. Because Patanjali tells us, if you don't know it, you don't see it. And this is a very interesting perspective that comes out when you go into the Kaivalya Pada. The Kaivalya Pada has amazing teachings where you start to realize that, there are so many perspectives, and you start to actually really, really go into a very different zone. That's for my Yoga Sutra 196-hour classes. I don't know. I've been thinking about it. I think 196 hours is a bit too much for people. Yeah? Swamiji, when he set up his step-by-step correspondence course, it was 52 lessons. So you had part 1, 2, 3, 4 of 13 lessons each. And the idea was one lesson per week. So, that sounds a bit more doable. And but I don't know whether the hours would work out, but let us see. Something may come. So prana is visualized initially and then experienced as warm golden energy. So it is a flow of warm golden energy. This is in tune with the concept of the solar energy, the sun. Warm golden solar prana, the heart. The apana is visualized as cool silvery energy. This is the lunar flow, the ta. So again you have the prana, the apana, the ha, the ta coming into play. And the prana is visualized in most of the practices, but especially in the first part of the Anuloma Viloma, as coming from the head down to the feet. You are lying down in Shavasana. Again, head in the north, feet in the south, to attune with the electromagnetic flux of the planet, in which we are a small magnet. The planet is the big magnet, we are the small magnet, and the small magnet lines up to the electromagnetic flux of the big magnet. Okay? We are not outside it. We are inside the electromagnetic flux, so we line up. People get very confused because they think of us as a magnet, earth as a magnet, and they say north repels, south attracts. They have all that issue. The issue is because they are thinking of the human being as a separate magnet out of the earth's flux. We are within the earth's field. So we are a small magnet within the field of a large magnet. We line up with it. That is why the head to the north, feet to the south is essential. In all these practices, which Swamiji also called as the polarity practices, because what you are doing is you are setting right your polarity. We talked about cation, anion, electron, proton. This is all the polarity you want to reset, because loss of polarity is death. Polarity is life, and that balance. So what we do is that we are visualizing the prana, warm golden pranic flow coming from up down to the feet, and then the cool silvery apana from the feet coming up to the top of the head. So there is this flow of prana and apana. So as you breathe in prana, you hold outside the feet. As you breathe out the apana, and you hold outside the head. The prana in, hold outside the feet, apana out, hold outside the head. So here the Savitri Pranayama becomes a key element of harmonizing the prana and the apana in the Anuloma Viloma. And earlier I had said the prana normally likes to go up and out. Apana likes to go down and out. So what the yogis said is, instead of just letting them go like that, what you do is that you reverse it. So now you have the prana coming in instead of letting it out. That is one of the things why we do the Jalandhara Bandha in Hatha Yoga, is to prevent the prana from going out and to stop it. And the same reason we do the Mula Bandha, to prevent the apana from going down and out and holding it back. So the yogis know what they're doing. They are not just going with the flow. The modern concept, go with the flow. Yeah, okay, fine. You should know what you are doing. Nothing wrong in going with the flow if you know what the flow is. It is not an excuse, okay? So what is being done is the prana is being brought, the apana is being brought, and this beautiful sense of balance is happening at the center of your existence. What is your center of your existence? The Nabi, Manipura Chakra. Manipura Chakra, where the Samana Vayu, the energy of digestion, is moving. Prana, Apana, and being brought together here. And you are bringing a sense of balance, because this energy center, the solar plexus, is our psychic umbilical cord that connects us with our energy mother, the universe. Just as the physical umbilical cord connects us with the physical mother, the psychic umbilical cord, which is the solar plexus, connects us with the universal mother. And when you bring the prana and the apana, you end up charging this. Okay? That is the key, what we wanted to share today. We'll continue this. And there is a very nice YouTube video I made on this, the Jnana Yoga, Raja Yoga, practices of Gitananda Yoga or something like that, where I have talked about this energy with in connection with Anuloma Viloma and also the Yoga Nidra, which we are building into that, all based on the Savitri Pranayama pattern. Okay? So let that sink in, think about it a bit, chew on the cud. Shravana Manana Nididhyasana, it is said. First you have to listen, Shravana. Then you have to contemplate it, Manana. And then Nididhyasana, you have to become established in it. So we have done a bit of, hopefully, Shravana today, a bit of listening. Okay? See you all later.